All right, buddy, we live, baby. Good morning. Sac passé.
What's going on, guys? My name's Al.
Hey, I'm Alex.
Welcome to Amicy channel.
Guys, listen, if you're not a part of the AAMICY gang, do me a solid favor. Click on that subscribe button below to us and be part of the squad.
Oh, God.
Guys, today we got the homie El Dax in the building. Track is called To Be a Man. Let's go do our best, guys. Stop this video. Let's get popping.
Let's get it.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand.
He's going back to the old.
I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Oh.
Yeah.
That a bar. They don't care about what you feel or how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. That scene of him in the beginning of being in the car, kind of like taking that moment to just gather himself before he goes into the house, to just like, you know, because it's kind of like the idea of like, you know, we work in the hospital or the medical field.
Yes.
And you know, we could have a chaotic day of like, you know, patients dying, all that stuff, and what we have to deal with today. But it's like the ability to not take that into the house when you come home to like your girl or if you have kids is like such a crucial moment. But at the same time, it's like, who do you turn to if you can't essentially be 100% with the people that you at home, if that makes sense. And it's like him and that line of him going, they don't care about what you do or how you feel. It's what about what you provide with for that house. You know, when you go home, like you have to like kind of put like a. It's like you're still having to be a persona of yourself at work and at home.
Yes.
You know.
I know this life can really beat you down. You wanna scream, but you won't make a sound. Got so much weight that you've been holding, but won't show any emotion. As a man that goes unspoken, now we can't cry when life gets hard. Unconditional love for women, children, and dogs. We know that we just have to play our parts, and don't nobody give a damn about our broken hearts. Yeah, as a man, we gotta pave our way. Our only function is to work and slave. There's no respect for you if you ain't paid. You're disregarded as a human and you can't complain. And if you ever make it up and actually reach that place and find a woman that you love and give her your last name, you'll feel the things that you provide is only why she stays. And when you try to explain your...
The only thing you provide is why she stays. That bar, bro. It's
Yo,
been
here
dropping
we come.
knowledge, but I think it's like, are you gonna see something?
No, I'm saying like he has been dropping knowledge with like this track so far, because like he's speaking about like how most men feel.
Yes.
Especially in today's age, it's like if you try to look for help, then you're looked upon as weak or like you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Versus like the women or like the children, it's like yeah, we'll do this for you. Like they receive more help than the man.
Yeah.
Because you have to uphold that. Oh, I got this all figured out.
But I also think that's a generation thing, right? The older generation created this society that like the current generation is trying to operate out of, but they're still trying to use that original essentially generation.
Yeah.
So like at one point in time, like the husband only had to work, the wife stayed home. They were able to afford all of that stuff. But like again, it's like you're on your own. You're the only person you can look at up because your wife's not working. You're the only one working. So all of the responsibility follows on you. So you're the one seeing where the money's go, how much money is going in, where all these different things. But then it's like fast forward to today's time. It's like where inflation on every aspect has gone up to where like finding someone that only has a one income household is so rare. That is because now it's like two parents. It's two income plus
they're working an additional job.
Other side gigs, which essentially puts the guy still at a disadvantage. Because as if you were brought up by the older generation, you still have that the mentality or that mindset of like provide, protect, all out of stuff, right? Which means so automatically when you get in that situation where you're not, the house is just not where you want it to be, you're gonna feel like a failure because you're not doing what you should be doing.
And you feel like now that your wife or whoever has to work, now you feel like, dang, like I'm not bringing enough for her to be able to be home
and raise the kids and be there for the family.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, unfortunately, it's not your fault. It's the system's fault. Because if the system was working the way it should have been working, people wouldn't be slaving away 80-hour work weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In order to actually be able to afford the basic necessities of their lives. So like this song is like kind of like an embodiment of like what today's society is going through and what the older generation has gone through, right?
You're
Say I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, cause we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed, all the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man you provide, they don't know what you're worth till the day that you die, and that's when they start crying. Then move on to a man to confide in. That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home.
Yo, guys, that was Dax.
Welcome to the Valley.
Well,
A 2-pack of
that was not it.
I was like, where you going?
I was trying to find my
Dax.
applause. Yo, guys, that was the homie Dax, To Be a Man. What a phenomenal track that was. I was kind of like, while I was listening to it, I was kind of, it brought me back in a way to like a time where, you know, like the scene where the kids come down and the dad's going through like all of the past due bills that they kind of have going on right now, and it's like making sure that like, okay, shoot, we only have $1,000 coming in the next week, and okay, so we got to make sure what's important for us to pay here. But like just that kind of like looking at that stress, and I think like one of the things that growing up, mom and dad did very well was the fact that like we were poor in a country that didn't have a governmental infrastructure to help you get out of poverty.
Yes.
Very different.
I came.
You got here when everything was like, hey, we're balling.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I understand so much that feeling or seeing the parents in a way like, okay, figuring out mentality. Okay, we just gotta get through the next phase, right?
Yes.
And just seeing this song is such a powerful remembrance for me of like, okay, what mom and dad went through, what I saw, what I had to go through in order for us to get to where we're at now, right? And I think it's like a lot of times like growing up, people that are in those situations, the kids don't see that. And because they don't see that, they're still processing the world in those, in a perspective of like not what the reality is. And a lot of times as the parents doing everything in their power to make sure that they shield their kids from the realization that like, yo, we got nothing. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So it's, so to me, it's like such a powerful song, seeing like the guy or the man of the household essentially doing everything he can. And it's like you get just a little bit every single day. You wake up at like those, I think those are blue collar jobs, right?
Yeah.
Going to go work this crazy long hours to come home just exhausted, but you still have to. You're essentially operating off of place of the depletion. right? You go to work, you give like 16 hours of your day to whatever job, your hard labor that you're doing, driving trucks, going to work in like freaking coal mines and stuff like that, building houses, to come home to a family, and then it's like, hey, and you're still having to pour into others versus you, right? You see a lot of those people that are in the military. You know, they go overseas, they're doing everything that they're doing, and then when they get out, it's like, yo, they see the reality of the people that are you. So all of a sudden, you're back into you went to war, but now you're having to have a war with yourself about where you're at in life. You know what I'm saying? Because the infrastructure is not set up for you to come back.
Right.
Which
It's
is-
like it's just set up to send you,
Yes.
but not return.
Exactly.
But I love what Dex has done with this track and then the Dear Alcohol.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's speaking to you and like everybody at the same time. To where it's like you hear this song, you're like, okay, I can relate with it.
Yes.
And it's like you could have this internal battle. I mean, like everybody usually has it.
Yeah.
Where it's like you go throughout the days, like, okay, you work, you come home, you play with the kids or not. Like us, we go to school, we go to work, and then we're grinding.
Yeah.
But we never have the where we're able to like sit back and be like, we did a really good job today.
Yeah, it's a level of stress that you're operating off every single day that people think is normal.
Right, but then it's like you're having to cater to like women and then taking care of them.
Yep.
But then when you start falling apart, you're not supposed to. Like you're not supposed to act that way. You have to keep that. You have to keep the I'm the man. I'll be there. I'll always be happy. But you're not always happy.
And I again, this goes back to what I said earlier. That's a generational thing, right? It's the older generation couldn't do it. So then the kids watching them were like, well, dad didn't do it, so I'm not going to do it. So those people end up having kids. And then it's like they look at the current generation who's in a different world than they do. And some of them might, be more in touch with their emotions. And they're like, oh, you're weak.
Yeah.
Well, no, you just didn't have the ability to do it because of what you were going through. And I've said it before, in a world where you're dealing with where the next danger is, mental health doesn't exist. It's not in your world because you're focusing on, okay, family's good. Okay, what's the next thing? Your focus is so much on the danger at hand that the mental health aspect doesn't even come into the question.
Yeah.
So if you are someone that was born in a generation of where's the next? Okay, we gotta make sure everybody's okay. You're operating like that. You have kids. Your kids are not gonna be like that because the goal is if you're doing what you're doing properly, your kids won't have to do what you had to do. And if your kids didn't have to do what you do, your grandkids will never have to do what you did, which means they're now in the moment of life where they can go, my mental health is just off. And then the older generation is like, we're talking about mental health, right? Because there's such a disconnect. And that's kind of what I was saying as far as like the generation thing. And I hope as we progress that like more guys are able to express themselves, because that's what the biggest thing is. Like the ability to express yourself feels like it's a weakness for some people. And because a lot of times like growing up with the older generation, the daughters didn't see their dad be emotional. So when they got a person, they wanted to meet someone that was stoic and never showed emotion. Then they have kids and their kids are like, I'm in touch with my emotion. And they're like, what? That's weak. Or if the husband does it, they're like, oh, that's weak. My dad never did this. Right?
Yes. Or even it's like with today, it's like women want men to be like a little like show more emotion.
Yeah.
Especially, and then you look back and you're like, I never had time to show I never had time. Like right now, I it's hard for me to cry.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that's like that gets me to a point where it's like, oh, like we lost a family member or something happened to you. That's probably the only time I'll cry.
Yeah, because as I say, even like a family member, like it doesn't. It's weird because like I think because I was born in an era where, like you were born in an era where we had money. I was born in an era where like I was, okay, like kind of like there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Because we were poor in a country that didn't have a government infrastructure to give any access to benefits for poor people.
Yes.
So if you're poor there,
You're just poor.
you are just poor.
There is no
You have to
assistance.
figure it out.
You're
Right? So then that hardens you in a way to where like, so like, and kind of like transitioning to like the United States, being in the United States, and I'm just like, this is very different than how I grew up because I didn't have access to the infrastructures of the United States that has so many levels of help for people in this country versus like being home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Guys, listen, as usual, we love Dax.
Come back to the rant.
We here for it.
Yes, we are.
If you're not part of the AAMICY gang, click on that subscribe button below and join us to be part of the squad. And at all times, don't cheat yourself.
Love thyself.
And keep it AAMICY.
Peace.
I